Hey everyone, so today we're making what's called a cabbage steak. I have leftovers and this just sounded good to go with it. That way we had some veggies in there. So this is my first time cutting a cabbage. I'm not entirely sure how this works, but we're going to just give it a shot. So, hang on. Okay, it's a little harder than I thought. Okay, come on. Okay. Well, guess I'm saving that for later. And we're just gonna go with this littler piece because I'm not sure how much my husband's gonna like this, and I'm not gonna waste all the cabbage on this. So here I'm going to figure out a way to cut it into steak form. Let's try this way. Alright, maybe I need to just sharpen this some more because it's falling apart. Ah! Okay, let's try it this way maybe, and just cut it like this until we meet in the center. Okay. Seriously, why is this so difficult? This is why I don't eat cabbage. Okay, look at that. See, and that's what happens when I try a new vegetable. Things fall apart. But I will be back with what looks like a cabbage also. Look at this. How cute are they? My little babies. Anyway, be back in a minute. Okay, so this is as good as it's gonna get. I mean, I can't get them any thinner, and I'd use like the edges because I royally messed up. I mean, look at that. So it falls apart easily, so I'm guessing either I needed a sharper knife or I just did it wrong. Both of which are viable options. Not entirely sure what I did. So regardless, here we are. We're going to start with our pesto. I got this kind just because it was cheaper. And I'm just going to take a spoon on the recipe, a couple recipes I found, to just lather it on there. So if you look, it's like spreading apart. So I'm just going to try to like hold it together with the pesto a little bit. We're just gonna try that on all of these. Just spreading it around. Okay. And there's this one. I'm hoping that's enough pesto. I mean, I think if it's covering it, we're in good shape. Okay. Let me see if you can see that one pretty good. So I'm just gonna keep covering all of these with a big dollop of pesto. This one should cover real easy. And then this one, there we go. So this is supposed to be a Mediterranean vibe. So I did get Mediterranean feta cheese, kind of by accident. Maybe I was like thinking about Mediterranean, I grabbed the right one just because. Or if you know me at all, I end up buying the wrong thing all the time. Like in my family, we'll buy crunchy peanut butter when we meant to buy regular peanut butter, and we'll buy low fat when we meant to buy like regular. It's just kind of funny how that happens. I don't know if it's because we're just not paying attention or we just seriously go right over it and don't think. Regardless, that looks pretty good to me. Everything's pretty well covered. So now that that's there, I am going to add these diced jalapenos just because my husband likes jalapenos. And I think it'll add just a nice little flavor to it. I could totally be wrong, and this could be terrible. And you may never see this if it's terrible. We'll see. Regardless, I've found very little recipes where jalapeno did not help it. So it's always a big sell in my house too. There's a little heat mixed in. Let me just throw a couple more on that. Okay, so now that that's on there, in general, you'd probably be a lot more generous with the Parmesan and the feta, but because my husband can't tolerate as much cheese, I try to limit how much we put on. So it does look a little thinner, but you'll get the idea. Let me try it this way, actually. I'm just gonna sprinkle this on. You probably could have bought better Parmesan, but I don't like spending all that money on something I'm not sure is good, since I have to. Seasonings, I try to buy the right stuff, like if I know it calls for bay leaves or certain things like that. But with cheese, because I don't end up putting as much, just because of my husband, I don't get as good, which very well could be backfiring, who knows. So there's the Parmesan, and then the feta. It always comes in these huge chunks, which I don't like. So I do try to crumble them down just a bit. It does say crumbled feta, but you have to like go to the bottom to get the like pre-crumbled feta. But what I do is just sprinkle some of this on, hoping that Mediterranean blend really works out. And then we'll just sprinkle all this on here. Again, not near as much as other people and most likely you would put on, just because of the cheese issue. Guess I should look into like cheeseless recipes, but I love cheese, so who knows. All right, probably gonna have to cut all this out. Dang it, stay. And the last bit to this one. Alrighty. Alright, that should be good. Put a little bit more because this smells so good. Okay, and now I bought, sorry, my hands are covered in cheese. I bought, it's called Mediterranean Magic. It smells interesting. But it looks good. And anything where it says food adventures, it's usually a good sign. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this on top. And then oops, throw a little bit more of this on top just to seal it all in. Okay, and so we're gonna stick this in the oven at 400. We'll just wait till everything melts and looks pretty crispy, and then that's when we'll take it out. And I'll try and figure out the time in a second. But here's what we're looking at, and I'll get a close-up in a second. And here's what the food ended up looking like. Again, I definitely put less cheese than I would if it was just me. I mean, this is definitely a lot for someone who is lactose intolerant, but my husband's pretty good about handling it. And there you go. Okay, so here's what we're looking at. Just added some fresh basil on top. Otherwise, pretty much straight out of the oven. Actually, I think I might need a knife. Let me grab one real quick. So, kind of make a mess here, but okay, takes more than a second. It's not bad. It's definitely healthy, and it's not steak, but it's good. I think Brett agrees. All in all, super easy, pretty good. Not bad at all. Also, I should mention, I'm not actually sure how healthy this is, but it's really good, easy, and good to throw if you have another main dish that you're working on but you want to just add a good side to it. I think this is a better side than it is a main dish, but that's just me.